made from three particular types of ingredients. You got what's called a binder, then you have an aggregate, and then you have the reinforcement. Examples of binders, you have clay, lime, chalk dust, and lime dust. Aggregates, you could use earth, sand, crushed stones, things like that. The reinforcement, what holds it together is like the straw, the hay, or flax, or even hair has been used in the past as well. I've never made this before, but I've researched everything down to how it should go, so we'll see how it turns out today. What I'm going to use today for the binder material is going to be clay. For my aggregate, I will have sand, and for my reinforcement will be my yard clippings, the grass. The mixture ratio generally goes something like this. You'll have 2 parts of your binder, 1 part of your aggregate, and 3 parts of your reinforcement. Basically, reinforcement is the equal amount of what the binder and aggregate come together as. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these elements, mixing the sand and the clay first in this big red tub. All right. And then once all the moisture is mixed together in it, then I will add the grass clippings to it and stomp it all together. I'm going to use the old-fashioned method, stomp it with my feet, add just enough water to where it's workable, and then we're going to go and attempt to apply it to the chicken coop. Alright, so I'm going to take the binder, which is the clay I dug out in the back of my yard, and I'm going to mix it with the aggregate, which is going to be sand, which I dug out from the creek in the back, both cheap and available. Alright, so that was really what motivated me to take this step today, because stucco, again, is really expensive. So I'm going to take 2 parts of clay to 1 part aggregate, mix them first, and then I'm going to mix an equal amount of these 2 together and finish up making the dough. So throw in the clay. Yeah, thank you.
I did it! That's good.
Yeah. And then we're going to mix the other part sand.
What is that?
It's sand.
Oh.
Yeah. Alright. We'll have this on standby. Mix this up a little bit. Alright. Now, let me hop in here. Mush it all in. Yeah. Traditionally, these things were done in an open pit near where you wanted to build. I wanted to try to do it in this today so I can carry it around with us where we needed to go. Alright. Let's add grass clippings. Again, which is plentiful and free to me. We tried the bucket experiment, not working too well. Reason is it's really confined and it's hard to get in there. The bucket's kind of giving way here and there for mixing the materials properly. So what we done is we came out back in the yard here, dug a hole pit like they used to do back in the old days. It's been dry here for a couple of days, so the ground's pretty solid. It'll make an excellent hard backing from which to mix all the material. So we took everything out of the bucket, toss it together with a pitchfork to kind of better mix it up. Now I'm going to just add water as I go, try to stomp it down, make a workable mixture. Okay, I've added water to the mixture, trying to stomp it all in using the heels of my feet, all of my weight on the thing to mix it up some. If you look down, I'm adding a little water as I go to try to make it workable. Stomping it in to get all of it to mix together as thoroughly as possible. I think what I'll do after this is put a couple, or take a pitchfork to it, mix it up some more, and repeat the process and stomp on it. So we'll see how this goes here in a little bit. Okay, I've been going at this for quite a few minutes now. I don't think I'm going to need a pitchfork to mix it. The water has started to work its way into the mixture some more, and now the hole of my feet is able to penetrate and mix the material properly. If you look in the hole, how more mixed up it's looking. You don't see the grass clippings as much as you did. You see the mixture of the soil coming together. I'm giving way to my feet a little bit. I'm going to continue mixing this with my feet, and I don't think I'll be adding too much water to this mixture, and it should be mixed up, and then we should be ready to go here shortly. Alright, so again, one of the reasons you only want to use as much water as possible to mix this is if you use too much, once you place it on what you're covering or filling in especially, you'll have shrinkage of the material, which could cause, if it's part of a structure, some issues. But also you'll have holes in your walls, or things could fall off if it's holding things together. So you want to make sure to only mix just enough water to where the materials work. Okay, here we are at the chicken coop. What I'm trying to do is, when this was built back in 1940, they pretty much cut whatever piece they had on hand and nailed it up as they had it, as a rough-made structure. I've already renovated the inside and the outside for the chickens to lay their eggs. What I'm trying to finish here is there's these huge gaps in between some of these timbers that they cut. So you have all kinds of wind going into the coop. The reason I want to cover them is in the wintertime, to where I don't have the cold wind rushing through, hitting the chickens, and then taking the warm air pockets out of the feathers. I want them to stay somewhat warm in here during the winter, and just get fat so they can get bigger and lay me some more eggs when it comes time for spring again. Alright, so what we did is, when you do daub traditionally, you put the daub on what's called wattle, where they interweave a bunch of sticks or whatever other material to hold as like a skeleton, and then you would mold the daub onto it to harden, and then you would have your wall or fixture sometime where you're trying to create. Basically, my modern wattle for this is just compound tape that I've stretched over the top of the gaps to hold of some kind of backing. And then I'm going to try to just fix this to that and let it dry on. I attempted it already with the stucco, and it got the result that I wanted. So basically I'm going to do the same thing, but with the daub. For the bucket of stucco that I bought, I finished just this much work here, and then a couple stripes on the front. And I might as well rebuild the thing for what it's going to cost me to buy all that stuff. So this is why this is happening. Let's go ahead and take a look, see how this works. Alright, this is the daub that we mix in our pit. Alright. We'll try on a wider sponge here. Get the stick onto the fixture here. Alright. I can use my hands most of this. See, in a traditional building, you would put this around your sticks and in between beams of timber. That's why you see like the Tudor design in medieval architecture. That's what they were doing. The timbers were the frame, and then in between they would place the daub to dry to form the wall. So my love of history is actually hopefully paying off today, to where I can be more economical into getting this place up and running for the farm I want to run. Getting the stick ain't exactly easy. Okay, we tried putting it on the tape like you do with the stucco. I guess the stucco is a lot more wetter, easier to spread. This stuff is more like a, since it's made of clay, it's clayier. So what I decided to do is use the timbers for the frame like they used to do it back in the day, and it'll hold in place the Daub. And we'll still accomplish the same thing, filling in the cracks. We just have to adjust our technique, this being the first time working with it. So me and my son are going to knock this out, and then we'll show you some results here in a little while. All right, we've waited a couple of days for the Daub to dry, and as you can see, this is the results. We got it filled in into the gaps where it's dried. There has been some shrinkage, like I told you before. So we'll probably have to go over again to fill in, like if you see here, a hole formed from shrinking. And some places is a little loose compared to others, so it'll need some more touch up to fill in to make sure that it does its job. But so there you have it, my first attempt, 101 on creating a homemade Daub. And I'm going to share it for anyone else who wants to attempt it to cut costs on their construction projects they have around the house. So.